Hello, my name is Jasmine Richards, and I am one half of the writing duo Lola Morayo. My writing partner is Tólá Okogwu, who's also the author of Anyeka and the Academy of the Sun. When I'm not writing Aziza's Secret Fairy Door, I am the writer of this book right here, The Unmorrow Curse, and I'm also the founder of Story Mix, the inclusive fiction studio. We've worked on series like Granny Jinx and Future Hero. But today, I'm here to talk to you about Aziza, and there's a few of them actually. So, book one came out last year, looked like this. And here's book two, and book three, and book four, which I'm here to talk to you about today. Now, one of the things that I thought it might be fun to share is talking about the inspiration for Aziza's Secret Fairy Door. And they actually all started with a little kit that I bought from a craft shop and that I worked on decorating with my daughter. So a fairy door a bit like this one. Now, I have to confess that the fairy door that I decorated with my daughter doesn't quite look like this one. Ours was a little bit messier. This is the one I show for special occasions like this. But I love the idea of buying something from a craft shop and decorating it. And maybe that night hearing a knock from the other side of that fairy door and opening it and thinking about where that fairy door might take that child. And that was the beginning. That was the first kind of seed for Aziza's Secret Fairy Door. But I knew that there were lots of other elements that I wanted to weave into the story. And one of the things that I really wanted to celebrate was the idea of mythologies from all around the world. So rather than just pulling on that very deep well of mythology from Europe, was to actually look in other places and personally to examine some of the cultural fairy tales and mythologies that are connected to my culture and also to Tola's culture. So indeed, Aziza is actually the name of a West African woodland creature with wings, which sounds quite a lot like a fairy, doesn't it? So, and that was the inspiration for the name. Now with book four, here we have another mythological inspiration. So this young mermaid here is called Serena, and she's actually the daughter of Mamiwata, who is a creature of the sea and the river, but you find all over the Black diaspora. Actually, she has many different names, and she can be extremely generous in giving, and she can also be rather ferocious. But in Aziza's Secret Fairy Door, this summer adventure, our main character, Aziza, who has come to see her friends in the town of Shimerton, finds herself at the beach and finds herself meeting a new girl called Serena, who her friends are really very impressed with. And Aziza feels a little bit out of place, you know, this new girl, she's a mermaid, her mum's really famous. Aziza feels just a little bit out of place. But by the end of the story, these two young women have combined to solve a very big problem. And that big problem is something called a shell walker. And the shell walker is actually inspired by Icelandic mythology. And in this story, a shell walker has been woken up because of some very big sandcastles that have been built and is threatening to trundle its way towards the town of Shimerton. So Aziza and her friends Perry and Tico and her new friend Serena have to find a way to put the shell walker back to sleep. So I think the main themes in this story then are about collaboration. It's about working out that just because someone is quite different to you doesn't mean you can't find things in common, and certainly that you can't find ways to work together to save the day. So I thought I might read you a little section from Aziza's Secret Fairy Door and the Mermaid's Treasure. Okay, so just to set the scene for you really quickly, we're on the beach. There's a huge hole that's been dug in the beach, and that's been done by some characters who are called the Gigglers. They're three fairies that aren't always the most considerate, do tend to find themselves in a bit of a pickle more often than not. And the Gigglers have dug a very, very big hole indeed. Suddenly, there was a sneezing sound, and the ground shuddered for a moment. A memory of something Tico and Serena had said tickled the back of Aziza's mind. Could it be a shell walker? She asked. Perry gasped. No way. It couldn't. Could it? Her voice faltered. Tico gulped. But they never ever come out in the day. My mum says they are super dangerous. But Felly said that the creature was tiny, Perry said. Shell walkers are like, well, huge. Aziza was glad to hear this. She kind of loved the idea of meeting a baby dragon. Just then, a small tail flicked out of the pile of stuff. Immediately, a pink snorkel flew towards the heap, and the whole pile seemed to move as things shifted about to make room for the snorkel. Tico's face creased into a grimace. Don't you see? The shell walker is attracting all of this stuff. That's what they do. That's how they get its shells in the first place. But as it grows in size, its grabbing force will get stronger, and it'll start to attract even bigger things. If it doesn't go back to sleep soon, it's going to become too huge, Perry added. And then what if it leaves the beach? Shimelton will be in real trouble. It will grab all the houses in town, Aziza gasped in understanding. Tico's little nose began to twitch. And the trees in Wailing Woods. And the rocks on Ice Mountain, they all said at once. We've got to stop it, Aziza cried. We need to ask Serena, Perry finished triumphantly. Think about all those amazing adventures she's been on, Perry continued. She's always solving problems. I'll bet she'll know just what to do. Tico nodded eagerly. That's a great idea. Let's go before the shell walker decides to leave this hole. All right, said Aziza. Tico and Perry raced back to the shoreline. Aziza followed, but kept looking over her shoulder to make sure the shell walker was still in the same place and underground. We don't have much time, Aziza thought. Look, I'm just going to leave you. Can you see our lovely Aziza, Perry, and Tico, the original crew, off to find Serena, the fourth member of their team, for this book. So I think that's enough from me. It was lovely to share a little bit of Aziza's Secret Fairy Door and the Mermaid's Treasure. And I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.